Hello, my name is Katie Smith, and I am your LexisNexis rep. Today, what I'd like to cover is a basic introduction to research on Lexis and how Lexis is going to help you be successful in your first year of legal writing and research. I am a graduate from the University of Idaho College of Law, and I'm licensed here in the state of Washington. I have been doing this with Lexis for over 5 years now, so needless to say, I have been a 1L over and over again for 5 years. And that's not including my own 1L year. I know what you guys are going through, and today I've created a research assignment that is similar to what you will see in your legal and research and writing classes this fall. I'll walk you through the steps to get started and hopefully leave you with a sense of confidence as you head off and do your own research. When you start any research project, it has 3 basic steps that you can run through every research project you will see. These are the research steps. Start with the area of law or jurisdiction. So if your assignment is to be done in the state of Washington, that's your jurisdiction. Or if your issue is a breach of contract, the area of law is contracts law. Next, you'll select the source if you know it. So if you know that you're working in Washington and you need the revised code of Washington, we'll go straight to that source. If you don't know the source you're looking for, then you start with typically secondary sources, but more on that later. Finally, go directly to the case or code or use your search terms to locate it. So once you've narrowed it down to your area of law or jurisdiction and the source that you need to start with, then you can use your terms to help search within that source. Before we jump into the research, I want to show you around the home page. This is my information here. These are your student reps. You can always view upcoming trainings right here, and anytime I have a training, I'll follow up with a video like you are viewing today, and I'll place them here in the announcements section. You should all be earning points. For today's training, when you answer the quiz at the end, you will get 400 points. And so that's my way of saying thank you for your time. And you can go cash that out for $5 if you'd like, or tallying them up as you go. Let's go ahead and jump in. All right, now that we're within the research homepage, I just want to walk you around a little bit. So here is Explore Content. This is really where you will jumpstart that first step of your legal research. So remember I mentioned you have your practice areas. So this is where you find your practice areas. And you have your jurisdictions, so state or federal. For today's assignment, what we're looking for is, in the state of Washington, we're trying to figure out when is it necessary that a county can condemn land for public use. And we know that we're supposed to start with the law, so we need to go find the revised code that's applicable. So we know our jurisdiction, step 1. We'll go to Washington. And as I mentioned, we know what our source is. We know we need to start with a code. But the other source options to start with could be cases, administrative codes, or even secondary materials. And when I talk about secondary materials, those are your treatises, your practice guides, and jurisprudence as labeled here. And those are the things that are going to better help you understand that area of law without all the muck and mess of facts and drama of a case. And so this is a great place to get started if you're in an unfamiliar area of law or you're not sure where to start yet. A lot of times your secondary sources can lead you to primary sources like codes and cases. All right, so back to statutes and legislation, our revised Code of Washington. Now if I just click on this, it makes it so we're searching within the revised code. What I recommend, as we head back, is use the table of contents view. It allows you to do the same thing. You can search within the revised code here, but then this way you can see the title sections. And so when you're talking about a government entity taking land, it is typically eminent domain. So what we know is we can just kind of browse here and we see Title 8 is eminent domain. So let's start there. Now, if you were given the statute section, then you could have just typed it in up here and pulled it up. But we don't quite know what we're looking for specifically. So now we need eminent domain, and our issue is about a county. So eminent domain by counties. And now we'll look through condemnation authorized for general county purposes, eminent domain by counties. All of these look very applicable to helping us better answer the question. But what I want you to think about is you can start from the top. You don't really know this area of law. It's a good place to begin. But I've done this, so I know where we're going to end up. So we're going to jump straight there. Condemnation authorized by general county purposes. All right, so at this point, once you've read it, if you want to review their table of contents, you can do so right here. So you can quickly see the different areas you can jump around to. But before you go on, I want to talk to you guys about saving to folders. Over here on the top left, you can see you have folders and you can create a folder. I've created a folder for this project. It's called my first memo. The reason to do this, you guys, research is not done in a day. Sorry to break the news to you, but it is going to be a revolving process. You're going to have other classes you're reading for and you're working on projects. So it's really important that you save your work. So when you come back to research again, you can leave right where you left off or begin right where you left off. All right, next thing, read the statute. Don't browse it, don't skim it. Really read it and try and understand what the words mean. And once you've done that and you're starting to build an understanding of the law, then you're like, okay, how do we apply this law? Now, each statute, whether you're in a state statute or you're in a federal statute, there are these things called notes on decisions. You don't even have to leave the page to start. So we scroll down here, we have these notes on decisions. Sometimes they're called case notes, but these are the most relevant cases that have cited this law. So this is your first look at the application of the law under specific circumstances. Now, I said most relevant. That means it's not all of them. I will show you how to find all of them. So, first step, go back to our question. When is it necessary that a county can condemn land for public use? And so we're looking at these, and do we see a prior application? We do, necessary. All right, so this here, the word necessary, when used in eminent domain statutes, means reasonably necessary under the circumstances of the particular case. Specific or detailed plans are not required for such a showing. Yikes, that's really broad, and I don't really quite understand the application. So, but the beauty of this is we have our first case that's helping us better understand the application of the law. Okay, you guys, what I want you to understand, and you can ask any upperclassman this just to confirm, but you're never going to find a case that is exactly like your fact pattern of your hypothetical question. But what you are looking for, and what I hope to help you understand, is you're looking for the law and how to apply it so that you can take that knowledge and you can apply the law to your situation. And that's where then you generate a memo to suggest a solution to the supervising attorney. So again, we're looking for the law, which we read, and now we're looking at how to apply it. So let's go ahead and open up King County versus Olson. And so here we have our case. And before we go any further, I want to make sure I save this to my folder in case something comes up and I got to go run and do something else. So I'll save that to my folder. Okay. Now, when you're looking at a case, there's lots of great information that is available just within the case. So let's scroll down and you have the case summary here. So it's giving you a basic overview of what happened in the case and the basic outcome of the case. But something that is Lexis unique and you're not going to find anywhere else are our LexisNexis headnotes. Now, any other headnote that you run across on a different product, say Westlaw, the headnotes are just a summary of the basic issues. So a summary about ordinances and regulation, or a basic definition. But the headnotes on Lexis, you can quote to these. The reason is because they are the rules of law as cited in the opinion. Let me repeat myself. You can quote them because they are the rules as cited in the opinion. And we have pulled them out for you at the top. And so what you're looking for here within the headnotes are the references to the rules that you're trying to learn how to apply. So this is our first reference to eminent domain is we have headnote 5. There's our code section that we were reading. But we keep going and you see I have another eminent domain reference and more elements. So this is really that prima facie case. There's some elements here. And then finally we have our headnote 7, which again further defines necessary. Public, means reasonable necessity under the circumstances of the particular case. I want to go look at this. So I'm going to use this arrow, jump into the opinion, and this is the reason you can quote this. This is the exact quote that we saw for our rule, and here is your application. So this is what I'm talking about. You can quickly determine on Lexis. You have the rule and the application, and now you can start to have the wheels turning on your problem. Okay, now that you know that you have the rules and the application, let's jump back up to the top. And I want to go back to our statute. Remember I referenced that the cases listed in the notes on decisions were just the most relevant. Well, let's go find all the rest of those cases. Let's scroll back up to the top. If I go to my history here, I go to my documents, and I can go open up that revised code again. All right, so in order to find all the cases that have applied this, you go to Shepardize this document. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Shepards on Lexis, let me explain it just a little bit. So Shepards will scan the entire legal universe and generates a report finding all cases that cite your case. It breaks down each case's outcome as it affects your case. It also will find any other related materials like mentions of a law review article, court documents, treatises, other secondary sources. But the reason that Shepards is so much better than any other product is because this is done by hand on a daily basis. It is updated every 24 hours by people who work in an office in Colorado Springs, and they go through all cases that come across the desk, and they quickly edit them and link them to other cases. So let's Shepardize this statute. So here we have 20 other cases that have cited our statute. And if you look here on the left, you see under the analysis section, it breaks down how each case has affected the statute. So we have 2 that interpret and construe the statute. You can narrow by specific courts. So if you're not supposed to include any federal courts, you exclude them by just clicking on Washington. Okay, we'll clear that. So we can use the search within results, and let's type in necessary. So we brought our results down to 19 from 20. So all of these cases are referencing necessary with regards to the statute. Necessary is a little broad, but it's just to show you how you use the tool. Now, finally, you can also do this with that case that I showed you. And it'll do the same thing. You can narrow down by specific issues. You can even narrow down by your headnote. But I think we've covered a lot of really good materials today. So let's go back and review our 3 steps to starting any research project. Remember, when starting any project, you start with the area of law or jurisdiction like we did. We started with Washington. We select a source if you know it. So we knew we needed the RCW. And we go directly to the case or code or use your search teams to locate it. So these will get you started. But if you have any questions or concerns, remember you can always come to me, or you have other research support options. You have live support. This is live chat, and they'll help you right away 24/7. Or you can always call 1-800-LEXUS. Head back to the home page here. Here's my information. And I really look forward to helping each and every one of you be the most successful in your first year of legal research and writing.